trying to impress me, pulling out all the stops, making my head dizzy when you tell me what you want. I just wanted you to see me, never thought you'd notice. Thought that you should know I'm already sold, so never let me go. You had me at a la 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 la.
Welcome back to the beautiful blue skies here in Bruges in Belgium. Welcome back to Tom's Tourney 2026, last game of the day in this glorious golden even sunshine, and we have got women's quarterfinal action for you with Fabulous up against Spice. Myself, Benjamin Rees, in the commentary booth, delighted to be joined by Issa Mickael. Issa, looking forward to this one just as I am?
Yes, if not more than you.
That's exactly what I want to hear.
Gorgeous. Yeah, no, it's great to see a women's quarterfinal, and I think we have two teams here that are ready to bring it, and a bit of an equal level. So they both will have to fight for it to get it, and that is something that, you know, we are eager to see.
Fabulous currently undefeated so far, won all 4 of their pool games, knocking off Gentle, Dulcineas, Copenhagen and LMU. Spice had victories in the pool over Bono Babes, Woof, Desky and Remix.
Ooh, and a missed throw on the first throw. This gives an opportunity for Fab to get those immediate break.
Yes, Spice have taken 1 loss to Yaka. And Fabulous trying to inflict a second upon them. Here's the veteran Kappelman. Looking down line, and Marina Symington just straight out runs to the spot. And is now going to collect from Gibson and sends her back down the line. Cutters take off deep. Marcel, not the option this time. They're going to take the underneath option of Sophie Mance. Mance gets it off the line to Gibson. They've created a big inside-out channel for her. She's going to be able to hit it with that wicked low release. And then Mansell, this is a lofter. And it's going to flutter harmlessly to ground. Missed opportunity there. Mühlebach picks up. And distributes to the near sideline for Joya Rickner. Jennifer Rickner also on the roster. Here's Hostetler. Trying to swing it off the line. Get themselves into a more neutral central position. Gibson is roving around, trying to sniff out a poach opportunity. Kappelman now wants to send this one to Mühlebach, but the sideline was too close, and as soon as she released it, she knew that that was a decision that she would like back.
Yeah, we see Spice messing up on the offense, but we also see them putting it down on defense. Lots of tight marking. We've seen them get it back 2 times now.
Gibson goes central and looks to activate Scott, who collects with the offhand from Symington. Scott goes with the low release to find Gibson, and they've worked it all the way to the far sideline for Arwen Zhang, who's able to finish it off to her namesake, Baoqi Zhang, for the Spice hold and the 1-0 advantage.
Yes, we see them do it. Like I said, a little bit messy on their side, but to be fair, that defense did make up for it. Very well marked. The first D, there was no going around it. It was caught and then continued play. But yeah, there were some mistakes, so anything can happen. I'm curious to see what Fab is going to come out with. Do you have any idea?
They've gone through a variety of different sets. I think they play quite a traditional offense. They're not going to go out in more of these spread formations that we like to see Spice deploy.
Yeah, because we saw Spice this morning. We know they love a hex, which is more of this give and go type of offense. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Fab will bring us.
The Latvian Datsa Sirula fields the pull. Ringenberg gives back to Sirula and then collects the return pass. Really trying to attack the centre of the field. It's being shut off, so Sirula leads down line. Finds Ringenberg, continually sending cutters to flood this near side, and they're able to break it around and use the width of the field. Sirula shot to Ringenberg. Ringenberg giving something to give chase, and Azra Avdukic is able to rise and pluck it.
So we see actually a really different look from Fab. They had way more space that was open in front of the handlers, and it wasn't immediately connecting. You saw a lot of handler movement going forward, but space was being made by the cutters to eventually have this distance and get that disc into the end zone in a beautiful, no mistakes first hold. I always like to see teams that leave a lot of space open. You also saw that they were mindful about that deep space. You had those cuts there. They left when it was not an option. Maybe not an immediate connection, but they did find it. I think this will be a close match, and I'm excited.
I think they're two well-matched teams. Well, there's an interesting addition to the Spice sideline for this game.
And who's that?
Tom Abrams, aka Mum, of course, of Clapham fame, wearing the coaching jersey. And he has a well of ultimate knowledge to draw upon. And when you play tight games, you need every advantage you can get. And
yeah, it's great to have a coach by your side. It can make all the difference.
Tsang gestures downfield, and they are able to slot that in to Marcel. Looking for Symington. Thought they might take on the ambitious inside shot. They're wise to look it off in the end. Gibson now. Just going to give themselves more lateral room to work with. Oh, does she collect the return pass? No, but it doesn't matter because there was awareness and the backup is applied by Hannah Scott for the score.
Yeah, a cheeky little garbage catch we saw there. It wasn't the intended target, but they come down with it, and that is what important. And like you already said, we had someone in the end zone with their hands up in the air, throw the hammer, but it was looked off, and I think it was a good decision.
Was it a fun decision? Maybe not for supporters, but for them, I think scoring's pretty fun, so they'll certainly take it. Interesting as well that when we saw Spice this morning in that game against Deski, they were kind of playing three balanced lines and rotating through them. But so far, it seems to be a more traditional, strict O and D line system.
I get it. I mean, this is the quarterfinals. Once you get there, maybe time to reevaluate how are we going about this. And, they can bring it all.
It's great to get everyone minutes, get them involved, up to speed, but it's also great to win, and you come to tournaments to win medals, and it's a really good habit to get into if you can get over the line against good opponents.
Very true. A great habit to have.
That one's a little bit behind Ringenberg. So Spice with their first break opportunity after Fabulous were clean on their first O point. Here's Wilkinson on the verge of the red zone. Gwyn Evans points and gestures and then is going to collect it back. Did she toe the sideline? She did. The inside shot there, Rose And it's sprinkled off the fingertips of Cinnamon. Another shot at it now for Fabulous, and there's I think a little clip on the mark there from Cinnamon. I think was going maybe for a foot block, and there was some contact, and the foul is dutifully accepted. So it'll come back in with the stall on 1. A round break. This is going to rise and drop straight into the lap of Kira Moore. Alice Gwynn Evans going wide. Towers now really able to drop that centre of gravity, get underneath the mark, find Athanasiou, and that's the first break of the game. It's going to go Spice's way and help them open up a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, wow. Indeed, she went low for that throw, and it worked out. Yeah, no, it was good to see. For those who don't know, we have Spice here. They are from the UK, and we have Fab that are from Switzerland. These are teams that don't necessarily match up that much against each other, but it's great to see them do that right now. Like, yeah, indeed, two breaks for the Spice side. And they managed, so we are at a 2-1.
3-1, in fact, after that break.
Oh, a 3-1 for Spice.
Both of these sides were in Spring Tour action last weekend. Fabulous were out in the shadow of the Alps in Grenoble.
Did they match up against each other?
No, because Spice were also at Spring Tour, but they were at Spring Tour in Birmingham, where they had an undefeated weekend, knocking off Bristol, Örebro and Iceni on their route to gold. A little bit up and down for Fabulous, who had a 2-3 record with wins over Gentle and Zoom Rush, but losses to Tequila Boom Boom, Yaka and Moon Cup. Not that there's any shame about that. 3 very strong sides, as we've seen.
Ooh, and a view for a huck that unfortunately didn't come down. Spice again for a break opportunity.
Fab trying to chance their arm down that far sideline, but you do not give yourself a lot of margin for error, as they found to their peril. Lim picks up and looks to centre to Trevino.
Oof.
Thought she might have had a second effort at it, but it wasn't to be, and now they're off to the races. Just outside the end zone, playing it short, Avdukic. Looking back for De Pietro, airing this one out. The float might allow a defender to come in. They applied the pressure, but it was not quite enough. And at the second effort, Sarina Zili is able to stick it for the Fab score.
Great effort, however, from Spice to still get in there, get up in the air. It did make a difference, but then the second effort was, deservedly caught. I think it's also nice. This is the last game here for these teams, so bringing the energy is definitely something that can make a difference. It is difficult because you're tired. You already have 2 games in your legs, but we do see an active sideline, which can make the difference.
Well, it's interesting because Fabulous played 3 games yesterday compared to Spice's 2, but that means Spice had 2 pool games left to play this morning. Fabulous only had the 1, and because Fabulous topped their pool, they didn't have to play a pre-quarter, so they've only played 4 games compared to Spice's 5, and Spice have played 3 already today compared to Fabulous's 1. So you're going to get that classic well-rested versus well-tested out there on the field.
Yes, I think we had the same thing in another game this morning, and there we saw that well-tested actually worked out better. So we can have, a little see if it also works out too for this game. Here we see that being well-rested might have helped out with that fumble for the first catch.
No, it was a little freebie offered there by Heather Gibson. I think you could see her just lost the disc in the sun for a little bit. By the time she located it, her hands weren't quite aligned, but fortunately for her, Zara Glauser turfs it to give Spice another shot. And no problem with Gibson going to catch the ball because it was at a very catchable height and range. Just came right out of the sun for her. But the benefits of getting your offense going quickly, I think, surely outweigh the downsides. Tsang on the far sideline. Looks to break it, and Partizan was looking at the next option, and it span out of her grasp. Müller back now, jettisoning it deep. But it was a little bit too flat and driven, and they were unable to catch up with it. Glauser, the intended target.
Yes, 2 little fumbles with the disc. Like you said, the sun is at a tricky height this moment. We have Spice setting up the hex, which we already mentioned. It is something that they love to play. It almost seems like a bit of an isolation where they want to get it over to that break side to initiate play, and then just hit whoever's open.
Yeah, Symington is the initiator from out of the centre, but when she vacates the space, it's like a classic sliding puddle where you've got to fit one of the other blocks in. Deep down the sideline, Arwen Tsang has the position. The Nemo cut provided there, the little fin off from Symington. On the far sideline, they're looking to try and find the force in, and they are able to do so. And that'll be Spice back on the board once more.
Wow, that was some impressive thrust there. I feel like she knew she wanted it in that corner, and the defender was probably thinking it's not going to happen anymore. But you only need a second of space, especially at that distance, and Spice used it. They are up 4-2 at the moment.
Just the one break. You see here the replay of the score. Mance right on the end zone line. And I wonder there, just Araya expecting, well, she's got to push out from the sideline, so she's not going to be active. And Mance just about able to smuggle that one in there to her.
Just enough space. But enough is enough.
Look, in the end zone, I've always said that it's always open if you throw it hard enough. Is that good advice? Maybe not, so. But I think the point is that you have to be aware to those tiny little gaps. And actually, that one wasn't thrown particularly hard, but it's about finding those little seams and creases when they appear.
Again, we see Spice on the sideline raising their hands, bringing that energy. And it's showing.
Yeah, Spice, I think, are a team that does bring that energy and bring that noise, and they're going to come out with a zone setup here. Shuffling through some defensive looks and not let Fabulous get into a rhythm, but they're already beyond midfield with Cerula. Uses that long wingspan to get right around to Ringenberg. Uses the offhand to go into the backfield, Di Pietro. Here's the transition to match defense, and they're able to take advantage. Cinnamon stealing through. Athanasiou crafts it down the line to Alice Gwyn Evans. Now looking infield. Does she see anything? Still looking towards the end zone. A low release that is kept up and kept alive. And it's going to be in for the score from Catherine Stallen. The second break of the game once more goes Spice's way. And a 2-break advantage makes 3 points to the good. It's 5-2.
Yeah, solely looking at the first hold of Fabulous, the zone choice makes perfect sense. We saw that they like to create that space upfield, and trying to disconnect that, having that zone there, really made it difficult for Fabulous. And that is what you saw. They at one point had to go over the top. That one, it just stayed too long in the air. It gave opportunity for those wing markers to get in there and get that block. But it was also a really great block. She knew where to go, read the disc, because it can be dangerous getting into that play from a wing position, because if you don't have it, your matchup will look around and probably have an open space.
Timeout then on the field. Spice with a 5-2 lead on Fabulous. Women's quarter-final action from Tom's Tourney 26. Women's quarter-final action live from Tom's Tourney. We have Spice with a 5-2 lead on Fabulous. The other women's quarter-finals, an all-Belgium affair between Moon Cup and Gentle. Grit take on Woof, and Yaka are against LMU, if I can get my teeth in. Ego shot to Ringenberg. Fabulous can't afford to let Spice build too big of an advantage here. Abdukic to Ringenberg. And Ringenberg sees the space, wants to scorch it deep. I didn't hate the option, but a bit too much angle on the trajectory, looking for Ramonda Rindlisbacher.
Yes, that was too bad because it was a beautiful option. I don't think a defender was anywhere to be found. Unfortunately, too much angle.
Good idea, but the execution slightly off. Slinger Thompson picks up and breaks into the centre for Trevino. Rolls a hand across it. A Slinger Thompson who is a little bit of a shooter at times, this time going the shorter option to the bespectacled Lynch. Big yardage going downfield for Coleman. Trevino and Slinger Thompson cut each other off slightly, and Slinger Thompson's not able to get those feet down in bounds. At the very least, Spice have given unenviable field position from Fabulous to start from, right on that front cone. Poaching that dangerous inside lane and allowing those swings which Fabulous take towards that far side of the field. A riser, a couple of players in there. Abdukic stands firm and the disc lands in her lap. Well read. Ringenberg back to Rindlisbacher. Fabulous getting a little bit of slickness about the offense. Moving it nicely. No mark at the moment. Just about curling it past Lynch and doing a good job of just moving it through those free players, taking advantage of those sags and poaches. All the way to the far sideline for Rindlisbacher, who's got Ringenberg burning to the open side for the Fabulous hold.
We actually saw Spice spicing up their offense here, because where we saw them in a hex most of the day before, I think right now they tried more of a bit of a C stack, where they tried to have more of those longer gainers upfield. And we saw that it was working until it wasn't. A throw that was just about a little bit out of bounds. So I'm curious if they'll try it again. You know, Tom's Tourney being a tournament to try stuff out, or if they're gonna stick with their well-known hex.
I think it was working because they were giving big clear lanes for players to cut into, and
definitely.
they got into trouble because you had two players going to the same space, and that meant you were just putting the throw further out than perhaps you originally wanted to.
Yeah. But we saw Fab manage to get that score.
I mean, they are very much still in this game. Just over 20 minutes gone. Games played to a 15 score cap or 60-minute time cap. Gibson watches that one right the way into the bucket, Tom Tulit style.
Oh, I love
What a deep shot from Hannah Scott. Oh, she's on fire at the moment. Symington charges it down. Now, trying to reset the stall count, goes with the offhand to Heather Gibson. And Gibson, she's so good at that, getting so low with the release and almost shaving the grass. And she whips it into Symington for the score.
I love that play. I think we're seeing that Spice is bringing a lot of different things today. This looked like a classic play. You call it a sideline. Okay, this happens. You go deep, and it connected beautifully. I must say, Fabulous did do a good job of recovering. It is hard to, when you have such a gainer, to really get into position, but they did manage in front of the end zone. But Spice kept cool, played it out, found that space that they like, getting down, getting it in that inside space.
I love the throw from Scott. the form is perfect, and she doesn't overthrow it. She doesn't really try and wrench it deep. It feels like it's quite a smooth release, and sure, it doesn't lead Symington all the way to the end zone, but because it's nice and balanced, it's made sure that it's much more important that we get the completion than we just throw it as far as possible. And from there, they were able to have that little counterplay just outside the end zone to work their way in and score, and they very nearly got a hand in there on the very first pass. Spice's tails are up. Wide fake from Rydberg. Now Rinlisbacher. Just going to pop it inside to Avdukic. Cerula. Looking down the line to Avdukic. Looking for that narrow channel. It's speared in there. And now they're only a few inches away from the end zone. But they're going to have to go backwards first to create that little room. And they're then able to attack back to the front cone, where Nadia Di Pietro catches the score to go along with an earlier assist. 6-4.
Yes, well played by Fabulous. Spice came out with the zone again. And where they were rattled before a bit, it seemed like they kept their cool now. Finding the spaces, throwing to those open options, and knowing where to go. The score is 4-6. Spice is still in the lead. But yeah, it's a beautiful day. Anything can happen.
Certainly these are, I think, almost ideal ultimate conditions. The sun's out. It's not scorching hot. I mean, it is warm. Let's not pretend that it's not. But it's not one of those where you're just desperate to find any crumb of shade you can.
That's true. But like the ultimate conditions, I would say they are cloudy. I mean, for us, great having the sun out. But if you're playing, it's nice if it's warm, not too warm. And you don't have the sun messing with you like we saw in these first few points on the Spice side.
Yeah, you're right to call that out, actually, because there was the occasion where Gibson dropped the ball because the sun was right in their eyes,
yeah.
and she couldn't see it, so the cloud cover can help. Often the extra humidity from that cloud cover means the disc just hangs up a little bit longer. And on a personal level, I think I prefer a slightly stiffer breeze, just because it throws a little added element of entropy into the mix.
Yeah, I get that.
Gibson trying to marshal things from the backfield. Giving directions. And she links up with Marcel. Mance now sending it over the top. Oh, Arwenzang, excuse me. Just turned over the wrong shoulder. If they look the right way, I'm sure they've got that. But I think maybe expecting the backhand down the centre, and instead, when the forehand was delivered, they didn't locate it until it was too late.
It's also so hard to locate such a disc that is, right above you. Where will it go? Left or right?
Because generally the last place you want to look is directly up. I know we do all the neck stretches, but you never necessarily expect to use them in that way. Fog finds Rydberg. And now Glauser. Fabulous beyond midfield, looking for their first break. Fog gestures before going back to Egger. They're now trying to stretch it towards this near side. Mühlebach often likes to stand and deliver. Doesn't like the look of Kappelman, and is able to find Rydberg instead. Looking to return it around to Mühlebach, and it was too far. She reached, and I think she thought about the bid and then decided against it. Scott looked for the quick pickup and decided against. He's just going to shovel it out to Gibson as players charge off downfield. Zahn and Gibson looking for the little jailbreak between themselves. Fabulous, able to apply the brakes somewhat. Symington back to Gibson. Curls that one around the mark into Mance. Mance for Marcel, and she got there, but I don't think she got there in bounds, and indeed it is going to be a turnover. Ever so slightly lax in the throwing form, and it escaped away. Kappelman wants it down the near side. Gibson was charging there, and Ziali held firm. sees the space and beckons Egger into it. Now the option comes down the line. Into the red zone. Can they find the finish and get the first break? Symington sags off to stop a scoring pass. And then she steals in! What vision and awareness from Symington. Sleight of hand. That would make Penn and Teller blush. And then Mullerbach goes the other way and steals the inside line. A superb overtaking manoeuvre. Mullerbach has time.
And she does it.
Does it superbly. Getting a little bit harem-scarum out there. You get a huge mental edge if you are able to take advantage on this point, which is ticking up, pointing and shooting. Tsang tried to drop off and didn't get there in time.
Oh, so close yet so far.
So often it's the open one where you come unstuck because you just don't think about it and you rush it. Little Spanish fee plays, so half-time cap on at the end of this point. Tired players, and Gibson is saying, make space for each other, go, because as we've seen, Spice can really open it up when they want to. Symington's wide open on the poach, and Scott spots it. Some tired-looking bodies and legs out there. Fourth game of the day, this for Spice. Just the second for their Swiss opponents. Oh, that one, I'm not sure whether Tsang caught it or it caught Tsang. And that one curled over the top. And Tsang lies flat on the floor. It's taken such an effort, but they got over the hump in the end.
Yes.
And it's 7-4.
That was great effort. This being the fourth game, I mean, you can see it. People are tired. But Spice is doing some smart switching as well, which is something, you know, when those legs are not like they were on the first game. If you can do it smart, you do it. And, you know, it doesn't always connect. And then you see if Fabulous takes advantage of that. They do get on over the field, but they didn't manage to finish it off. And that's where Spice said, okay, we have got still some left in the tank, which I must say I didn't expect looking at this last point. But yeah, great effort that they managed to pull that off.
It's interesting because they've got a larger roster, but I think if you're Fabulous, maybe you take that as a win. You'll be gutted that you had such good opportunities and you couldn't capitalise. But if you're putting wear and tear in that Spice O-line, you're dragging out these offensive points, eventually you feel that that's going to tell, more cracks will start appearing, the completion rate will go down and you'll be able to have success.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially if you can get the hold in quickly here and get them right back out on the field again. Cerula.
Ideal. Oof.
I thought she was going to shoot it as well, don't worry. Ringenberg. Schutzorlora. On the far side, just a little check to make sure they were in bounds. All good there. Ringenberg comes downfield. Now maybe looking to get it off the sideline, but they've got someone going to the open cone. And Avdukic just with that little foot raise to make sure that she was indeed in bounds. And that's exactly what Fab needed. Go down the field, one possession, nothing too nervy. And that Spice O-line that's looking a little bit ragged has to go right back out there.
Yes, that will wear you down. I mean, we were both, I feel like, hoping to see that Flik hug go up, but they managed still in a couple of passes, getting it nice and open in there on that front corner of the end zone.
They do say that discretion is the better part of valor, and I say that she was very valiant in holstering that one. I might not have been so. I think I would have put it.
Oh, me too, believe me.
Especially when I've got the sort of throws that Cerula does. 7-5 Spice lead. Going to have half at 8 as we would normally. I think for Spice, if you can get the hold here,
It will matter.
Yeah, you get that.
It will matter.
It's not a long half-time, it's only a minute, but it does give you the opportunity just to take that breather. And we're actually, because that point was so quick, it's not the first choice O-line for Spice, rotating one of the other D-lines in. But we've seen them play balanced lines throughout the tournament, so they should be ready for this. Stalin down the line to Gwyn Evans, a nice gainer there.
They have the legs, you can see it.
And that fresh injection of energy looks to be doing the trick at the moment. Stalin sits it out to space. Easy chase for Moore. Moore, that one looked covered, and Stalin stuck a paw out, but couldn't claw it in front of Mühlebach. And now she puts it back in play. Araya. Looking down the line, back for Avdukic. Pump fakes the backhand down the sideline, but thinks better of it and goes central instead. Egger looking for Mühlebach, who's got the legs and the speed to cover that ground comfortably. Wide swing around. Araya. Now that one's going to be too low. Spice want to get going quickly. Maybe before Fab have set. Stalin comes underneath Mühlebach. Now Gwyn Evans. Looking for Cinnamon. Cinnamon chancing her arm and picked the spot perfectly. It drops right into the bucket. Nothing but net. Kira Moore on the score, and Spice go into half with an 8-5 advantage, Isa.
Yeah, it's looking good for Spice out there. The throw, it was an interesting choice. There were defenders out there, but yeah, when you got Moore there, when you have that bladey throw, it connects.
Spice have done so well in this first half at building themselves that 3-point advantage. Can they close it out in the second half? You'll have to return when LTTV comes back at Tourney on the other side.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches, and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, LTV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Love the action? Don't miss the breakdown every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central European Time. We go deep.
This is Shot for Goal. I'm your host, Stefan Rapazzo. Join me and co-host Noah Brinkworth as we dissect the world of Ultimate.
From tournament recaps and expert analysis to rule debates and global predictions, we feature guests from all corners of the globe to give you the full picture.
It's your weekly fix of everything happening in the world of Ultimate, and just one more reason to stay locked on to Ulti TV.
Very much looking forward to seeing Steph and Noah break it all down on Shot for Goal next weekend live. We are here at Tourney 2026. It's a beautiful Belgian afternoon in Brugge. Benji Rees alongside Isa Mickael. Isa, summarise that first half for us.
Well, we saw a bunch of different things in the first half. Spice was coming out with a Hex, also a C-stack, using Tourney to practice some stuff. We saw that Fabulous was able to get those long throws in, make space for each other, have that deep connection, which was punished by a zone of Spice, which is why we are now at a score of 8-5. Spice in the lead. Let's see if Fab is able to turn it around.
It's not the way to start. It was
the way.
Tough ask of Cerula, and she got a paw on it, but it just would not close in time. Spice with an opportunity to extend their advantage. Lynch calls for the break throw and receives. I'm not sure that Lim was necessarily expecting the return pass to be delivered though, and it's given back to Fabulous. It's the women's team from the Flying Angels of Bern in the Swiss capital. Cerula going short to De Pietro. She finds Ringenberg. So they're just playing the short game at the moment. Cerula turns, I think wants something a bit more exotic. Can she find it? Oh, it's off the fingertips. Lynch came in to try and spoil, and Rydveg could not hold on.
I think we saw both teams being a bit static there in the stack. Not really sure which spaces to attack. And yeah, we know Fabulous loves the deep throws, and when you see your Fabulous teammate go, you throw. But unfortunately, no connection. Let's see if Spice is able to finish it off clean.
At the very least, you've made them start from their own end zone line, and they've got the full central zone to go. Trevino's looked off. Pumping the backhand, trying to find Lynch, but it works its way to Trevino in the end, but the follow-up pass off the hand of Coleman. Neither side properly locked into this second half yet. Tough catch, well stuck. Rinlisbacher and the rest of her Fabulous teammates on the charge again. Avdukic to Rydveg. Ringenberg trying to go every other before force it down that sideline and into the hands of Paolo Rora for the score. Fab on the board in the second half.
I must say, when Fabulous go, they do it well. You see a lot of separation with their defender. They are able to bring that energy, and Spice, they have those 4 games in their legs, but it does still seem to be not always connecting for Fabulous. You have the handler movement, but it's a little bit harder to continue it into the stack, whereas you see that Spice is usually, I think they are a bit cleaner, able to really run it down. But it's the second half. Anything can happen now. We saw a good hold from Fab there, and if they continue on that journey, then we will see.
The other 3 women's quarterfinals also in action at the moment. Moon Cup versus Gentle Women, Hrut versus Woof, and Yaka versus LMU. And the reward for winning this game, an 8:45 semi-final tomorrow morning. Doesn't seem fair, really, does it?
Doesn't seem fair.
But a bumper day of action on finals day at Tom's Story for you tomorrow. Ulti TV will be covering it all free of charge here on YouTube, whatever the weather. And the outlook at the moment, not necessarily brilliant. No matter. We've been spoiled so far. As Symington... maybe a discussion about an in or out on that far sideline?
It seems to be the case.
It's the only thing I think it could be.
Or maybe a bit of a travel, but I think players are agreeing. Just everyone is going back to the spots which they were when the call occurred.
They're just going to reset themselves slightly. It is checked in, staying with Symington. Scott's the reset. She's going to clear out. Gibson now active and receives. Fakes off Scott. And flings it to Mance. Now they've got some motion and movement down this near side. The shot to Symington can go, will go. It's curling towards the far side, but that's why the cut comes straight down the centre of the field. You give yourself space to adjust, and Symington delivers on the score.
Yeah, that was a great throw there into the space, making sure that only the Spice offender was able to get there. I must say I am also surprised a bit by this throw going up, because I was of the belief that Marcel is a bit more of a deep target, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, she's showing that she can do it both.
I think, I was going to say in the modern game and sound like I'm 500 years old, but I think you have to be multiple and you have to be versatile as a player, unless you are a one of a kind at your particular job. I think it just behooves you to be well-rounded, because it means you're so much harder to defend against. If you're a player and they know that you're always going to be the deep option, you'll constantly be being backed. They'll try and get the disc in your hands because they know you're not so comfortable with it. Likewise, if you're a pure thrower, you're always going to be forced away from the disc where you're going to do less damage. But if you have both, if you have the ability to do both, if you can be versatile, play a variety of different roles and positions, it just makes you so much harder to match up against.
Yeah, a hander that goes deep, extremely dangerous.
Oh yes. The break is open here to have Dukic with a zone coming out from Spice. Dukic sticks with De Pietro before collecting the disc back. Rora blades it over the top to Cerula, shovels it backwards somewhat. Looks like they're trying to transition here into a match defense. Gwyn Evans having a look around. Who's she supposed to be on? I think she's spotted Ringenberg now. And Ringenberg absolutely launches it for Cerula, who makes a remarkable catch. Wow, she got so low so fast, and she scoops it from the jaws of death. And for the score.
This is what we were talking about. Handlers going deep, going low, doing it all. That is what we love to see. And I was already thinking, why would Spice transition into a man defense? Because you know what Fabulous loves, and that is having those spaces for their cutters, looking for those deep shots. Because I felt like the zone was working.
I think it's probably one of those scripted transitions where we'll keep it to a certain point of the field, a certain number of passes before finding the trying to transition. In the past, when they've done that, they've been able to take advantage of Fab thinking players were open and getting those run-through blocks. This time it wasn't to be, but it was a hell of a throw to uncork it from Ringenberg. And what a snag from Dace Cerula. Hell of a play from the Latvian, who's been in Switzerland for so long now, was a key part of that Swiss side that made it to the finals at EUC in Győr in 2019. A somewhat surprise silver medalist that week, but they just quietly and officially went about their business and did their job.
Yeah, that's how they do it.
Almost stereotypically Swiss they were, in fact. That one all gets away from Gibson. Caught Scott and Gibson by surprise, lofts over Scott's head. Mühlebach will pick up in the red zone. Glorious chance for a first break. She wants it all in one. Can she find it? Just too many bodies in the way.
We saw a little period, like a period spin for the D there.
Another break chance goes begging for Fabulous. Will they be made to regret this? That one put through the little letterbox that Mance created, and it clocks Kappelman in the face. It's fine, scars are cool. That one looking for the swing. Oh, it was tipped by Scott, but Mühlebach caught it. This game's really kicking up through the gears now. Kappelman on the verge of their first break. Can she find it? She can. Go shot to Hostetler. That's a fab break. They're just the 1 point down now at 9-8. And game very much on, Issa.
That's right, and this is for the money. It's the quarterfinals. Both teams, they won it, and they are showing it. We had a point where we saw messy throws, messy Ds actually, but that were so important. Having a hand on something, and you think you tip it away, but then the offense still has it, and they managed to get it into the end zone. We are 8-9, which is a great score for a quarterfinal.
And you wonder now maybe, is that extra fatigue beginning to set in, the lactic acid building up in the legs of Spice? Or can they just get deep and find the grit that will be required to get them over the hump?
I would say both teams are actually maybe looking more energized at this moment. Sometimes it takes you a while for that last game to get it into your legs. You got that adrenaline taking over when you're heading into the last 20 minutes of the game. This is the time to bring it.
Yeah, and a flex line being called by Spice, so you're seeing some of the offensive centerpieces stay out there. Gibson, Symington, for example, but also rotating other players through, like Stollen. Symington gets the power jab into the backfield from Gibson. Stollen's available and taken. Gibson bails out and Symington then takes it. Beckons someone a little bit closer. Symington dishing it back off to Gwyn Evans. Playing it between themselves. They love to get it going and force you to apply the brakes. At the moment, Fab cannot. And they take advantage. I just love it when they're just like a master conductor orchestrating the tempo. We'll go largo, we'll go slow, and then bam! Foot to the floor, pedal to the metal, and they race away before finding the score into Stalin.
Yeah, and that is an impressive skill, knowing when to continue that little 1-2 and knowing when to stop, because just as easily you want to get it going, you think you're in a flow, and there will be a hand in between. But we saw great restraint from the Spice side, knowing when to build it up, knowing when to take the rest, get it in front of that end zone, and just get it done.
I mean, you are so right to call that out, especially when I think you see it a lot when teams play against zone defenses or teams that play in transition quite a lot, is they'll get past one line and then you get a little jailbreak and you feel like you can go the whole way and you maybe not quite aware of what's going on around you, and before you know it, there's a hand that you weren't expecting. Exactly. And a pass that's only a couple of yards somehow hits the floor, but there was a really good just kind of field sense of someone's coming in here, now we need to look at other options. This smooth jazz needs to be interrupted.
It is 8-10 for Spice. Fabulous is on offense. Let's see what they got.
Spice sidelines getting loud. Cerula's taken the sunglasses off. We really are into the evening now.
Then you know it's getting real.
There's a stoppage. Hodin Lesbaka in discussion with Stella Slinger-Thompson.
It seems like Spice has chosen to go man defense again. Really throwing a lot of different things over at Fabulous, never knowing what to expect.
I like it. Don't let them get comfortable.
Exactly. Disc stays in possession with Fabulous.
Yeah, De Pietro. He's going to get it, I think, with a fresh stall. Two players in a similar space. They're able to get hands on it. Ringenberg. Back to Avdukic. Cerula now turns and guns Trevino. It was millimeters away. If they hadn't clipped their fingernails, they might have got something on it. As it was, it was inch perfect, the throw, and Ringenberg collects the score.
What a touch was on that throw. It is not easy to throw around a defender like that. And also when I'm looking at the field, the deep cuts that I'm seeing from Fabulous, they are not always thrown, but they are good deep cuts. And I think, when they manage to connect it all, it can get very, very dangerous.
Lisa Ringenberg's having a game, by the way. 2 goals, 4 assists to just the 1 turnover, getting a heavy workload and being supreme with it. Still the 1 point advantage then for Spice. They got those 2 breaks in the first half. Fabulous have managed to claw 1 back. They'll need 1 more to bring it level, and then a further 1 to take their first lead.
We loved also to see that active sideline out there this last point. I hope we see more of it. Sideline can be crucial in a game like this.
Well, it's a very fetching jumper you have there.
Thank you so much. I love it too.
Scott. Oh, she's done it again. Symington, can she chase it? Not this time. Earlier in the day, that's good. Scott puts her hand up. We've seen her deliver from a similar position, and that time it worked out. However, just asked a little bit too much on this occasion. But given how she's delivered so far for Spice, I think you're right to give her the license to shoot. Glauser. If they can go the full central zone, they'll bring it level.
Hand on the disc.
Mühlebach collects the reset and finds Glauser. Supergrass plays over the PA. We've got 5 minutes left until the cap. Here's the deep shot from Kappelman. Oh, it dropped perfectly in there. Could not have weighted it any better. Symington on her haunches on the floor as it's punched into Zieli. And Fabulous have got that second break, and we are tied at 10s with 5 minutes left in this women's quarterfinal. What a way to end the day, Issa.
What a way. The adrenaline is flowing here. 10-10, and just as how we like to see it, we had those deep shots. It didn't connect for Spice, and now Fabulous managed to get it off. Just if the defender of Spice was one step more to the back, might have gotten in there, but it's also so difficult. And yeah, the Fabulous player was in the right, like the exact right spot.
The sun bursting through the clouds, off in the distance. 4 minutes plus change separate one of these teams from a Tom's Tourney semi-final. That, of course, and their opposition. Will Spice hold on to close it out, or can Fab find the comeback?
What will they show us this time? Will it be a hex? Will it be a split?
Gibson catches the pull. The first pass goes to Gwyn Evans. They've got Symington active in the centre, looking to run it between the handlers at the moment. Gibson looks downfield, doesn't like it instead. Symington is activated instead, and they're just happy to play this dominator at the moment. Symington got clattered a little bit, but she was able to deliver to Wilkinson. Trying to find the inside to Gibson. Defenders are right in the pockets now of Spice. How are the nerves? Gibson trying to squirrel around in the reset space and receives. Defender's hips turn. Symington on the reach. Was she in bounds? Well, she's clearly in bounds. Was she in the end zone? No, not quite. On the end zone line. And they're just going to be a brief stoppage, I think. Player stop because maybe they thought the goal was in. But it is going to be with Symington here. Gwyn Evans plants and comes into the backfield instead. Looks to return it to Symington. A little Oyo edge on it, but it does not matter. Symington is equal to it. And Spice hold.
I feel like we know what they love, and it is right on that end zone line, going for the open side, stopping, turning around, and getting that inside break. And I mean, what can you do to stop it? If they have it, it's like maybe a question almost of also turning your mark a bit, but definitely hard to stop. We saw that Fabulous was also bringing it with the defense being very close, maybe also a little bit bumpy, but it is something that can happen when you are 10-10 in a quarterfinals at Tom's Tourney.
Yeah, it's an interesting call out there because you're right. I think maybe if you go a bit flatter on the force and you back out a little bit there to create that buffer so that it doesn't allow that little bounce back inside. The problem is Spice have been generally very good at recognising that and just taking the free around. So it's a little bit of a pick your poison.
It really is. It really is.
11-10. Spice keeping their head above water. Lynch with the pull. Whereas De Pietro picks from the floor. Cirula finds Egger and then collects back. Zips it. There's space for Inlisbacher. And this familiar offensive core for Fabulous going to work again. Everything seeming finely tuned and well oiled now, deep into the game. Ringenberg been involved in over half of her team's goals. Now she's going to Rydveg before getting it back. Players shuttling out of the stack. De Pietro clears out. Still got to be rising. They're able to curl it in to Cerula just before that cap comes on. So we'll finish this next point at 11-11. We know what that means. Whoever scores, it's going to be 12-11, game to 13 here in this Tom's Tourney quarter-final.
Game to 13. It is getting exciting here. We saw Fabulous working it out in front of that end zone. You had those handlers moving it around. And they trust their receivers. You have those Spice players there, but they know that, they can get up in the air. They love those blades. Honestly, you can see they just love to score.
I mean, Cerula provides that big target that as a thrower, you're always more than happy to see.
11-11. I mean, we said it at the beginning of this match. This will be a good game. We actually said it at the beginning of this day in the car, if I don't remember wrong.
That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about kind of the teams in this women's division, and we thought one of these teams, really had a good shot at a semi-final, but it was probably neck and neck between them. And we've been treated to an absolute feast here this evening before the famous barbecue.
Oh, it surprises me that Spice didn't come out with a little zone. I am curious what Fab's going to do. I think they're going to bring that defensive energy breathing down the neck of Spice, bringing the pressure.
Gibson and Symington just playing it between themselves in the backfield. Lynch has come over to the O-line. And some of the key cogs tiring. Gibson breaks it to Symington. Tsang towards the far sideline isn't the option. Gibson comes short and then returns. They're so good at just resetting the stall count. You see there, that's what we talked about, going a little bit flatter. Spice recognise it and take the around to that far sideline for Scott. Sells Tsang a little bit short, but she catches. And now Lynch. Gibson's charged off into the deep space. Symington trying to work back in space, isolated. Arwen Tsang to Scott. Threatening the low release that Spice seemed to love. Symington to Gibson. And Symington really is just trying to quarterback this Spice offense at the moment. Gibson back to Symington. The little bounce to Lynch for the score. I mean, Symington is shouldering a very wide load at the moment. But like Atlas, she is holding up the heavens for Spice. And Lynch, the collector on the score. One away from the semi-finals now.
It's interesting that we talked about it and we actually saw the flat mark now going to that end zone. But then we also saw the break leading up to a backhand score. Yeah, it's dangerous out there when you're playing against a team like Spice.
And this is why they like the spread offenses, because it's very clear they've got the isolation on Symington. They're not necessarily hiding that. But if you want to get someone in to poach and disrupt that, then you're going to leave someone wide open. And because they're all spread out and they're not in that kind of tight bunch, or whether that be a horizontal set or a vertical set, it means that it's a lot harder to pick up someone else when they become free because of that option, as opposed to you're bunched in and maybe you can scramble around a little bit more and have someone afford to freelance.
It is a whole a study on its own, studying the end zone, studying defense of the end zone, offense. There's so many ways to go, and you see in the years so much more is coming up as well. For now, 11-12 quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think Ultimate strategically continues to develop. Oh, a miscommunication. Avdukic adjusted, but it was a little too late. Spice can ice it.
With the opportunity.
More into Cinnamon. More collects again. Shows the backhand, doesn't want it instead. Goes for Stalin. High, Wilkinson catches. It's going to go back on a travel.
This is the moment to bring it for Fabulous. If they do not get this block, they will be out of the top 4 and not continue. So if there's ever any moment, it's now.
The Fab sideline trying to cheer up their charges. More looking for someone else to get involved. Finds Cinnamon, who slides to the floor Springsteen style and clutches gratefully to the chest. More. Cinnamon bounces it back outside. The break continuation isn't quite there. Gestures at Stalin, who wants it. Cinnamon looking around, has to pick someone now. Still count rising. Can she squeeze it through? No, it was too far. Gobbled up by Fabulous.
And they do it. They get the block in the moment that matters.
And that's the downside, of course, of going a little bit spread, is that you don't have those clearer spaces to attack necessarily. Glauser going down the line to De Pietro. Returns fire to Ringenberg. Oh, it's tipped. Second effort isn't there for Glauser. Quick pickup. They're not going to go all the way deep, though, because Wilkinson has time and double clutches, but does secure. Towers, can she charge this out? She can. She's not in the end zone, though, just yet. Spice on the precipice of the semi-finals. Can they get over the plane? More. Looking desperately for an end zone option. Will she find one this time? No, but Stalin continues. And returns fire to Moore. Calling for someone to attack the front line. We can do this. Get it over the front. Moore. Still not in.
Still not.
Is it to be? This might do it. Wilkinson slides and scores. And Spice are in the semi-finals with a 13-11 victory over Fabulous. And Fabulous is exactly how they will feel.
Yeah, you see how important those first few moments in the game are, where Spice was able to get that lead. Fabulous has fought themselves back beautifully, having this last point, starting on the hold, getting a turnover, getting a block, and then just a misconnection. But both teams, they gave what they had, and they gave us a great game.
Yeah, there was nothing left out there on the field. As well, there shouldn't be. Every ounce of energy expended. And Fabulous will have to play for finals tomorrow, but medals potentially still up for grabs for Spice in tomorrow's bracket play. And yes, day 2 of Tom's Tourney is in the books, but it is bracket play tomorrow, starting the day at 8:45 local time with women's semi-final action before both open semi-finals, the women's bronze medal match and the women's and open finals to end the weekend. Do not go anywhere tomorrow. Keep it locked on UltiTV, as I'm sure you will. Like, subscribe, make sure you get notifications so you know whenever UltiTV goes live, not just here at Tom's Tourney, but at whatever tournament we seem to be covering. Whenever we've got the live streams, the breakdowns on shot for goal, or a best perspective going up, keep it locked on UltiTV. All of the games from Tom's Tourney this weekend are available to watch live and on demand for free in perpetuity on our YouTube channel, along with our extensive video archive. There is so much Ultimate for you to watch and trawl through, and we really appreciate all your support. What a game, what an evening. Time for us to get the Bruges flowing and wrap up the barbecue. Final score here at Tom's Tourney is Fabulous 11, Spice 13, and Spice are into the semi-finals. We'll see you on the other side for finals day.
Tell me what to do, say anything, yeah. Dive deeper, dive deeper, yeah. Dive deeper, dive with me, yeah. I know we could fly if we just tried, if we just tried. So come on, baby, dive deeper, yeah. Dive deeper, dive with me, yeah. I know we could fly if we just tried, baby.